Hi, so today is drawing and fading. Draw, swing first, and fade, swing. I'll talk you through all the things you need to know for these. And starting with the fact that you need to be able to hit a straight shot to begin with. If your swing is not fairly neutral to start with, then this isn't a great thing to try, to be honest. I always like people to be able to hit neutral straight shots before they start worrying about trying to hit fades and draws, because you have to do certain things in your setup which, if you've got an ingrained fault like over the top, then it's almost impossible for you to suddenly make the move that you'll require for a draw, because basically you're using a neutral swing but you're aligning yourself differently. So if you look at these two orange lines, that's for a straight shot. So we've got the ball to target line, I'm going to call that, imagine the ball was sitting on there, and then I've got my body line, feet line, which is parallel left. So if we're trying to hit a straight shot, I would line up parallel with that, shoulders, feet, hips, everything, and try and hit a straight shot. Let's have a look at that one. 168 and didn't move much. A little bit right, but pretty good. So if we try and hit a draw now, if I take my setup again as though it was for a straight shot, now I'm looking for in a draw the ball to start a little bit right at the target and then come back towards the target. So if I was to try to do that just from this setup, I would have to do all sorts of funny movements in my swing. I'd have to bring it inside a bit more, I'd have to swing out a bit more with the face closed, and it might be possible, but I could potentially hit, well, one thing I could hit was an unmentionable shank I could hit out to the right by doing that. So you want to use, this is why it's important to have a good neutral swing in the first place before you attempt this. You want to use that good neutral swing and the efficiency and the power that you have with that and the consistency that you have with that and the movements that you're used to, but use it in such a way that it produces a draw. And the way that you do that is just by changing your setup mainly. So I would go for a draw, just slightly draw, aim my feet a little bit right of this line. So I'm really just bringing that foot back a bit, but my shoulders will be slightly that way as well. So they're kind of not on the orange line anymore. It's about the only time ever I would tell you to aim slightly to the right, but that's providing you've got a good swing in the first place. So the other thing you do there is I'm aligned right, but the club face is still going where the flag is. So say I wanted to aim out, hit it out to the right of the green and bring it back to the flag, I've still got the face looking at the target. So I don't know if you can see that here. So I'm going right there, but the face is actually still pointing there. The face hasn't gone slightly to the right or anything like that. I've not got the face pointing out to the right. So it's still on the target and I've just danced round it a little bit to the right. I would err on the side of having the ball position pretty much where it was, or if anything slightly further forward, so that the club has got a chance to be closed when you hit it, i.e. looking left, because when you hit a golf swing, the club should be square when it hits the ball, and then it starts to turn over to the left as you go through the target. So if we're wanting to hit a ball that's going right to left, then we kind of want that face to be slightly turning over to the left a bit more. So having the ball very fractionally further forward can sometimes encourage that. So I'm a little bit off to the right, I've got the face still at the target, and now I'm going to try and draw it. And that looks pretty good. Yeah, 180 yards, so it's gone a lot further. The first one was 168 and I've suddenly picked up 12 yards. That's because the face is slightly closed, it's de-lofted effectively, so when I've hit the normal shot, I've hit it with the loft, the normal loft that was on the ball, on the club. And then when I've drawn it, I've actually, because of the fact that the face was effectively closed to the angle I was swinging at, it comes in with slightly less loft and tends to go a bit further. Let's try and hit another one. So a little bit right again, and then face still at the target. That's a good one. It's not coming back quite as much. It still drew a bit, but it didn't come quite back as much. 184, so again, it's a long way. It's a 7 iron I'm hitting. These D7 Wilson Forge seem to go absolutely miles. And yeah, so that's the fade. So the draw, sorry, that's the only other thing I'm doing in my head is, if you're thinking anything swing, my swing's pretty much the same as it was for a straight shot, but I've just set up differently. The only thing I may be trying to do is feel like I release my hands a bit more through the shot. So I'm letting the wrists and hands and arms roll over a bit more. So there's a feeling of that face closing over through impacts and staying slightly behind the shot a bit more. So there's a feeling of the head just staying back a little bit, the hands flipping over a little bit more. So it's just everything trying to encourage that ball to curve back, which is the complete opposite to what we do now with the fade. The fade you set up in the opposing direction, so you go, instead of being this way, you're now this way. It's open stance, so I'm pointing off this way, shoulders off that way. I've got the ball slightly further back because I want the face to be open now when I hit it. So I want it to come slightly, what is effectively a glancing blow across the ball that way. So let's see if I can hit one there. Back in the stance. So let's have a look at that. Good for line and 139, so I didn't quite get all of that one, but the fade will go less distance because just what I said with the draw, where the face is effectively closing down through impact and making it into a stronger iron than it really is. The fade's the exact opposite, so when I'm coming through with the fade, I'm keeping loft on it. It's that face is sitting up, it's not closing over, it's up. And so you tend to get a higher shot if it takes a bit of loft off it. 7 iron almost turns back more into an 8 iron, and so it's going to go higher. It's a gentler, softer shot that lands a bit quicker and stops quicker on the green, I should say. And the draw tends to roll on, if anything, a wee bit more generally. So let's hit another fade. See if we can get it a wee bit further this time. Just feeling like I'm swinging across it. It's really just it's down the line of my body, but it feels slightly across it, and I'll tell you in a minute why. Let's see where that finished. 150 and a really good line there, so went a bit further. That was a good line. The feel, just as I had that feeling of staying behind it and closing the face over a little bit more in the draw, and the fade, it's the opposite. I'm trying to hold, I'm less wristy through the shot, so the ball's a little bit further back. I'm swinging along the line of my shoulders, which now is across the ball. But through impact, instead of doing that flipping idea, you're trying to hold the face, looking at the target for a bit longer. So it's a more dead-armed swing. It's not as wristy feeling. So go across here, more of a dead-arm swing. See where that one's gone. Hit that one good. Really good line, and further 160, so that's good. So that is kind of it for the fades and the draws, but as I say, you really need to get your fundamentals right from the word go, because if I get somebody who we get a lot of people come for lessons and they aim to the right, so they'll aim, they're still going for the same target as me when I'm lying like this, but their feet will be like this, and you would think, well, they might be hitting a massive draw, but they're not. They do all sorts of things on their backswing, but effectively in the downswing they'll come across the ball and hit back to the target. Now that out and over swing, you might be better at the fade than you will certainly with the draw with that swing. You will not be able to hit a draw doing that, because you won't be able to start the ball to the right. You might hook it from there, hit a pull hook. If you close the face over and go like that, it'll go left and then curl left. But really need your fundamentals to be good, so you're kind of neutral, straight up and down there for your straight shot. Then you can just dance around it a little bit for your draw, hang back a little bit, let the hands turn over, and then the opposite for the fade, where you go across it a little bit more because you've set up in such a way. Okay, so that's all from me for the draw and the fade. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments and I'll get back to you. Thank you.
Make sure to hit that subscribe button, make it go grey, then make the bell go ding. Make to smash it, smash that like button.